Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Holtecast. I'm Jack Grimsey alongside Robert Lintott, as always, for 7,500 to Holt, bringing you the latest in Aston Villa news. How's it going, Robert?
It's going wonderfully, Jack. I'm glad to be here this week.
Yeah, are you glad that Villa are off this week?
I am glad that Villa are off this week after 2 consecutive months of bitching about the international break interrupting our football. I don't mind it interrupting our football right now.
Yeah, it comes at a good time, I guess, especially ahead of Southampton, who've been on fire this season. And yeah, I was watching ESPN FC the other night, and they said Southampton have a difficult run of fixtures coming up after Villa, and because they have to play the Manchester clubs twice, I think, in their next 10 games because the fixtures flip, obviously. But yeah, I think again, good time for Villa to have a little more time off.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to next week really diving into Southampton a little bit because they are a fascinating club this year.
And I think they've been a pretty fascinating club the past few years, honestly. With you look at Spurs, and Spurs got their manager, but maybe they should have got their scouts because Southampton got gutted this summer, and they're better.
Yeah, it's incredible. Their defensive record in particular is absolutely mind-blowing. But we'll save that for next week because, we have to have something to talk about.
I guess that's true. We could get a little bit back into that 0-0 draw against West Ham. I know you didn't like the result. I thought that any time that Villa can get a point without Fabian Delph and Christian Benteke, it's a great point, honestly, because those I don't know. We were just talking about it a bit before the show, but yeah, those are really two match winners, honestly.
Yeah, and further removed from Sunday, I can sort of see the wisdom of a point is better than 0 points. Uh, but my problem with the match was we saw Aston Villa play exactly the same as they had. We saw them only get a point, and it turns out that point did absolutely nothing in terms of standings because it seemed like everyone else around them got a point or two.
But at the end of the year, it's going to be an important point, I think, and at the time, yeah, maybe it's annoying, and I kind of feel like you were just indifferent to the point. You're like, whatever. I kind of feel the same way about the Spurs match. Like once Spurs leveled it, you knew they were going on to win.
Yeah, no,
and it's just, I mean, whatever at that point. But against West Ham, a team that's been playing good football, they coming into the match they had 5 wins, and last year it took them until February to reach that mark. So you can see the kind of the turnaround they've made this year, but like I was saying, I think without Delph and Benteke, any point's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. The one problem I had,
the thing I wanted to say is I know you wanted Villa to lose just so Lambert would be out.
I wanted them to lose
You
towards
figure
that end, or I wanted them to win.
That too. But I'm thinking if he loses, and then if you lose to Southampton, no matter what the circumstances are, it's hard to justify if you've lost 8 in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a problem. And then there is the sort of shadowy dark side of it all that we don't actually know that Lambert was on a 2-loss, rope. And
No, I definitely don't think he was, but I think most or a lot of Villa fans and most reasonable people would think, oh, you've lost 8 in a row, I think you have to go. But he just got handed a new contract, and he's not going to get bought out, I don't think. Unless,
yeah,
I mean, bad situation, January, Villa are bottom of the table or close, just showing serious signs of a relegation team. Maybe the replacement comes in.
mhm.
And I'm not even sure it would be Keane if it was.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. He's already shown that he's sort of half committed to the club. I'm not too worried about it, but with his comments on, if there's trouble at Ireland, I'm going to go there rather than staying with Villa, it shows where his loyalty lies right now.
And to be fair, at Villa, he wasn't hired to be in the full-time manager's role, and he knew he was going to have that duty with Ireland. And I mean, obviously, you should have a contingency plan if everything's going down the toilet. But I don't think, I don't think that's really what he was hired to do at Villa.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I do, there's that wonder if his loyalty really lies with Ireland, would he come to Villa? But then again, if Villa are offering him a managerial position in the Premier League, that may be enough to override his Ireland loyalties there.
And I think it would be as well. I'm not sure that he's ready to be a manager in the Premier League full time.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree.
Just because I'm not sure if he even wants to do that.
Yeah.
No one's going to question Roy Keane's playing ability, and obviously I think he's been a positive influence at Villa on the coaching side. Obviously,
He seemed like a couple of times
he's getting people to put in hard tackles, and you need that a lot of times, even in the modern game.
Yeah, a couple of times over the weekend they cut to the sideline and showed Paul Lambert scribbling in his notebook, and then Roy Keane would just be sitting there staring at the pitch forward and suddenly burst out in a fit of cussing. Like, just out of nowhere. Like, nothing had really prompted it. He would just start swearing, and it was the most delightful thing to see.
Well, the right back was probably, I don't know, 5 meters out of place or something.
Something very minor and insignificant that caused Roy Keane to flip his lid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's funny. I didn't see that. I think I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure he should have shaved the beard.
Yeah, he looks less intimidating now. I miss the beard.
I think the results have kind of just gone sour really since he did so.
Yeah, it's that and Randy Lerner's one appearance this season turned things.
Yeah, and I don't know, on the subject of Delph still a little bit and a little bit Keane, but kind of just some joking stuff happening at Villa. Fabian Delph put this on his Instagram the other day, and it had the caption, "The Joker of the AVFC made this photo. Have a guess what player?" And a lot of people were guessing Gabby. And then someone commented, Gabby wouldn't know how to do this, and Delph goes, "You're right, lad, it wasn't Gabby, he wouldn't know how to do this." Oh. And then it comes out that Hutton is apparently just the Joker of the Villa team.
Really?
Yeah, and just making hilarious photoshops of Delph as a Slim Jim? I don't know what that was. Skinny thing.
Long ago, I was just clearing out my old folders. Long ago, I made a terrible Photoshop of the Aston Villa Clown College. Because at the time the defense was terrible, and front and center at the Clown College was Alan Hutton, but I had no idea that he was actually the class clown.
Yeah, and Photoshop was apparently too, at least for the Gabby. So,
that's pretty fantastic. I would have had no idea that Alan Hutton was the guy for that, but.
Yeah, he said top lad, top banter. I mean, I don't know. So, I mean, I guess.
Mate?
Yeah, maybe Hutton is the key to Delph staying. You think?
Yeah, that could be. Make that one Scotsman a little more front and center in the marketing pitch than the other Scotsman.
Yeah, quite possibly because like we were looking at. You just had an article come out today. I guess it'll be yesterday if you're watching the pod, or maybe still today if you listen tonight when it goes up. But yeah, Fabian Delph linked with Spurs now, and the thing I've always been saying with Delph leaving the club is he could go to Spurs and get twice as much money and start, because definitely a reason to stay with Villa, like we've looked at in the Vlaar situation, is that he's the captain at Villa and he'd be starting every game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Delph heading over to Spurs wouldn't shock me in the slightest. Spurs we know like to splash gas. Spurs we know like to try to steal Villa's best players.
I think it would be definitely more of a steal than a kind of a cash splash, because with the contract winding down, how much are Villa going to get for Delph?
But the thing is, it seems like Aston Villa are going to hold out. They're going to do sort of because there is no logical reason for them to sell him at this point.
Even if he leaves on a free, I think it's the same as Vlaar. You need to survive the season. I'm not sure why they wouldn't be able to convince Delph to sign up again. They signed him when he was on an injury.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing as Downing. If Delph signs a new contract and then you sell him to Spurs, because then you have a $20 million buyout clause, that's okay.
Yeah, there's no point in Villa selling, because...
Or if you say, we'll sell you in the summer, just keep us in the league.
Yeah, that could be.
The thing why the Vlaar stuff to Man United is starting to make sense now, to me at least, is just because so many defensive injuries, and because while the fee for Vlaar I think would be pretty good from Villa's perspective, especially considering what Vlaar was bought for and his age, Manchester United have an infinite amount of money.
Yeah, they
have like $1 billion from their shirt.
Yeah, every shirt they print is another bill in their pocket.
But no, but just from the sponsorship deals,
Yeah, from Chevy.
from Chevy and from Nike.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
mean,
ridiculous. They can afford it no matter what. And that's why when those rumors came out, what was it, 5 million we heard for Vlar?
yeah.
When those came out, it was like, okay, I can totally believe this, and Villa would be crazy not to accept that offer. But
But you could still get them up to 8.
yeah, absolutely. But
How was Man United push you around?
Vlar came out yesterday and said that he hadn't heard from United, that he had no intention of leaving. Do you buy it?
I kind of do. I'm not sure. I mean, we know Vlar was in Louis van Gaal's side at the World Cup, and Vlar was great at the World Cup, so he's going to be successful there. And I don't know, but Vlar just doesn't fit me as a guy, even with his great World Cup, that you'd be seeing as an elite center back in the Champions League. And
I don't know. After his
but
World Cup,
to be at Man United and to work in a back three, he wouldn't have to be.
yeah, he wouldn't have to be. But at the World Cup, I would argue that he was one of the 4 best center backs at the World Cup.
I would say he was one of the 2 best center backs, probably, just especially because the Dutch came in and you expected them to kind of leak goals, if they weren't able to go get a yellow, you know?
Yeah. So if he can be one of the top 2 to 4 center backs in the World Cup, why can't he be an elite center back in the Champions League?
Because he gets injured all the time.
I mean, that's a good point. He does get injured an awful lot, and adding an extra match a week will probably not help that at all.
Yes, but also if Manchester United hadn't spunked 35 million on Luke Shaw, and a lot on Falcao, I don't really think the money's the issue. If they could have just bucked up and bought Vlar and a younger center back. That's the thing with Vlar, is he's worth the money because he has shown that he can be really exceptional and a world-class player at times, but longevity, I just think he's getting up there. But for United and for Villa, it's gonna hurt if he goes, especially this January.
As to Vlar's age, he's not even 30 yet. He's still only 29. I think he's got...
Yeah, but don't ever sign anyone that's like over 23.
You know, he's
You
got
haven't been playing a
enough...
football manager, Robert, come on.
I should know better, but he's got some time left in him. He is injury prone, but I think he's got at least 3 or 4 more half-decent years left in him, years in which he could provide United value.
And the thing is, if United stick with this three at the back system, you're probably going to want about 5 center backs.
Yeah.
And with the really young guys, Tyler Blackett being one of them on Manchester United at center back, I think, I don't know, Vlar's been there and he knows the manager. He could really help work with some of the younger guys.
Yeah, no.
Like he's obviously done with Villa. You look at Nathan Baker, and he's a player that you're not just scared to see come in the side. I mean, you're scared just because you know he might get injured, and just for his sake, but you don't think it's going to be a complete meltdown.
He's certainly looking better this year. Baker.
Yeah, exactly, and we knew he would be. Just another year in the league, more time to develop. That's what you think you're going to see, but again, I guess defense kind of pulled together a little more.
Yeah, and the idea that Vlar is sort of at the center of that he's the guy sort of helping them, is one that I give a lot of weight to, because he really anchored that Dutch defensive line this summer. He's anchored that Villa defensive line. Villa inevitably.
Beginning of the season, Villa come out those first 4 games conceding once. I don't know. Whole defense is clicking. Vlar's the part of it. Guzan's obviously key too, and having the midfield at full strength. But
it's that Vlar-Senderos pairing, which who the hell thought we would say that?
I think it's the Vlar and almost anyone pairing though, because Clark had an awful game not marking against the first goal against whoever. I don't know.
Would it be okay if we just said Clark had an awful career and just leave it there?
So far.
Yeah, it's been.
He can still play for Ireland and do well for Keane there.
He's legitimately scares me when he comes onto the pitch. He's one of those people
being a defensive midfielder. I remember always hearing that like 3 years ago.
I can't even possibly imagine that. He can't mark well enough as a defender. Why would he be able to do that and add the need to go forward?
he wouldn't go forward. He would sit in ahead of the two center backs and go in with nasty tackles. And once he gets
The
booked
thought
in
of
the
that,
35th minute, then you take him off for Sanchez because Sanchez could last 70 minutes then, or 60 minutes then.
the thought of that makes me want to not be a Villa fan if that happens. Because, God, watching Kieran Clark as a defensive midfielder, we've already seen Carlos Sanchez with a lot of mistakes this year, and it's frustrating as hell. Can you imagine Kieran Clark and the fact that he makes a mistake about every 10 minutes or so?
Maybe that's because his best position's not center back. We saw him play left back a couple years ago, and he was useful.
It was useful. It wasn't great.
That's a system where Villa played with basically 4 center backs.
Yeah, I don't really see any use for Kieran Clark right now except as depth.
I think he should get a loan to a championship side and rediscover how to play football, I guess, maybe.
The problem is Villa don't have the depth to give him a loan.
No, not with Senderos out, they don't.
Yeah, he's sort of first off the bench right now because Yoris Okora is missing. Check him in the cartons, you'll find his picture on there.
You think Okora could maybe come back after this international break? That's even a little more. That's more time.
I have no flippin' clue. There's almost nothing more irritating to me than Paul Lambert's handling of Okora and Grealish.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Grealish.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The handling of that duo.
I don't know why he's not on the bench.
Yeah, I get you don't want to throw Grealish in.
Be in his new contract?
Yeah, you don't want to throw Grealish in right now. You don't want to, overwork him as a starter. But good God, he's already proven this year that he's maybe Villa's best impact sub.
I think he definitely is. He came out against Hull and got 3 people booked, and one dude came in with a horrible tackle and didn't get booked.
Mm-hmm.
In 10 minutes.
The worry that I think some people have, though, is he, for some reason, seems to be a magnet for terror tackles. And do you want to risk
Yeah, because he's a little guy with a haircut that apparently a lot of people don't like, and he's got moves, and he's going to make you... He's half your age, and he's going to make you look like an ass.
Yeah, I mean...
That's something you've been doing for as long as he's been alive, professionally. So...
I can see why those tackles are happening, but I don't think you should let the fear of those tackles keep you from using him because they will always happen.
Maybe I don't know. You've seen with Neymar, everyone wants him to put on weight, and I think if Grealish put a little bit of weight on, that wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, it could be,
I don't know how much another 1 centimeter of padding is going to do when someone steps on your ankle.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be pretty tricky, but the fact that Lambert refuses to use Okora means we can't send Clark out on that loan that you want. And I'd agree. I think it would be great to see Clark sent out to the championship. I think it could do him a lot of good, but as it stands, he's the first man off the bench. And you can't send the first man off the bench out on a loan.
No, you definitely can't, especially because someone else is definitely going to pick up an injury.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Philippe Senderos, like we talked about pre-show, picked up another one while he was in Switzerland.
So yeah, just with the national team, yeah, I know you're going to talk about that today a little bit. You had in your news video that you put out, so you want to talk about that a little bit?
The news video? It's an experiment right now. We're seeing if it works, so please do check out the site. I'm playing around with the idea of doing somewhere between 3 to 5 times a week, quick 60-second or so videos that give you the headlines for the day and what you need to know about Aston Villa for the day. It's just something that I'm sort of playing around with. I don't know if people will like it. So please, I'm going to put my first one... I did one yesterday, but I kept it private amongst the 7,500 Holt staff so that we could all get our words in. But I'm going to put my first one up today/yesterday if you're watching this on Thursday. But go give it a quick view. It's a minute and 5 seconds or so. And let me know what you think.
Do leave us a bit of feedback, and we're gonna work on improving the graphics. It's still kind of the bare minimum at this point, but really trying to get you some video content more regularly on the site. I know we had been doing some things with transfer talk, and we'll bring that back in January, of course, when more transfer news comes out. You looking forward to that season? I think I am a little bit, just because you never know. It's interesting just to look at what the other clubs do as well.
Yeah, I think it could be a good transfer window. Because Lambert's going to be given a little bit of money. We've heard that since August, I think it was, or September, that he was going to get some money in January. So,
Do you think he keeps Cleverly permanently?
I hope so. I still think Cleverly has been doing a great job. I think I have to temper my praise for him a little bit because without Delph, he looks a little bit less useful, but he's a good sort of stopgap. If Delph leaves, if Delph gets injured, I think he ends up sort of with Westwood captaining that midfield.
I think so, and Westwood, I think, has been having a pretty good season, very under the radar. I know I always make the man of the match poll, and a lot of times I forget Westwood. I looked at him last time against West Ham, but he wasn't having a very good passing day, and that's usually what he does pretty well. But I think he's been pretty consistent. That's really all you need. You don't need someone who's a match winner at every position. You just need a guy who's going to go out and do the job.
Absolutely. I've been complaining the past couple of matches that without Delph, the midfield has just looked absolutely lost. But even in the past two matches, you've seen Westwood grow into it a little bit. And maybe Delph being out with this injury is good for Westwood. Let him have a chance to control that midfield because I think he has that potential.
I think so, and Westwood, he came in from Crewe Alexandria from the lower league side, and a lot of, I don't know, it's like Lambert comes in from the lower leagues, gets a lot of lower league people, and a lot of them didn't work out, but I think Westwood is someone who, like Matt Loden, longer term, just could be a pretty useful player in Villa, either in the starting, Westwood's shown why he should be in the starting 11 with his set piece delivery and his pretty quality passing and his improved his tackling ability as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's been doing a nice job of things. I think Loughton has been decent in replacement for Hutton the past couple of matches.
Exactly, and I mean you didn't want to see Hutton have to go out just because he's been doing well, but I think Matt Loughton's probably better and he's got more potential. Maybe not better right now because obviously Hutton's been doing really well. Flashback
4 months. Can you possibly imagine yourself saying you don't want to see Hutton out because he's been doing really well?
No, but I'm happy to do so now. But no, beginning of season, yeah, the bomb squad's coming back. Okay.
and on that bomb squad, who are you most excited about at the beginning of the season?
I think it's Ogbia.
Yeah.
I think we still need him in the side. Just he looked all right. He had some moments at West Ham on the right wing in the 4-2-3, like being able to come inside and do something in the final third.
I had high hopes for Darren Bent in replacement of Christian Benteke, and boy was I wrong about that.
Bent did he ever get a start?
No, but he got a couple of sub appearances.
He had a couple of bad sub appearances.
Yeah, he did not earn that start in the slightest.
No.
Good God.
Maybe he did because everyone else was so bad.
That's not earning that start. That is by default getting that start.
Yeah, but he didn't pay back the manager's faith.
No, not even.
Or Randy Lerner's pounds, more importantly.
Yeah.
I don't care if Randy Lerner gets them, but I just would like Villa to get some more useful players, I guess, really.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be nice to have a good striking option because Benteke apparently has an idiot streak in him. Kozak, God only knows where he is, and I haven't heard an update on him in a while, but last I heard I was thinking January.
Yeah, Kozak just keeps getting pushed back. I thought we were going to see him about October, and again, Kieran Clark was this guy who broke his leg.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Kieran. But he may have even gotten pushed back further for Kozak. I can't remember. I know he's a long ways out. Currently the
he's a long way out, but if you look, I don't know, look to the future. You see the other day, Callum Robinson scored a hat trick for Preston North End.
Yeah, I did see that in the FA Cup. I mean, granted against non-league competition, but whatever. It's a hat trick.
Do you know who they were playing?
It was. I saw the name. Who was it?
Levant and Waterlooville.
That's it, Waterlooville. I was like, I know it's something famous.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of famous. Well, Waterloo is famous, and it's a town named for Waterloo. And by Waterloo, I assume they're naming it after the ABBA song and not the famous Napoleonic battle, right?
I have no idea where Waterlooville is, so.
It's an ABBA reference is not your cup.
No.
All right, I'll try again later.
Yeah, maybe we try again later, I guess.
That's fair. But so yeah, he's a hat trick. I mean, right there, he managed 60% of Aston Villa's goal total for the season in one match.
Not bad.
Yeah, no kidding. And
But can he do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke?
probably. Yeah.
I mean, probably. You see again, Grealish is out of the Ireland U21 squad.
I did not see that. Is that just coming across, or?
Yeah, I was just browsing their website. Yeah, it came out on the 5th of November.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with that.
They're playing. The Ireland U21 is playing the U.S. this Saturday and then Russia on Monday.
Oh. And so we don't get to see Grealish against the Ireland U21s.
Against the
US 20.
the Russian
Yeah.
U21s, which.
Well, okay. One thing that I do want to make sure we hit, because I lured people in with this title, I was just intrigued because we've got a week off. We have to take a look at this. If you can change one thing about Aston Villa between now and the break, something that's actually achievable, you can't just suddenly bring
Not
in...
just magically cure the injuries.
Yeah, exactly, and you can't bring in Neymar all of a sudden, but something that's actually changeable over the break that can really positively help Villa after the break. Do you have any ideas of what you might change?
I think trying to play Vyman centrally, again without Benteke, I think or maybe trying a 4-4-2 or something. Just try something else, because the 4-3-3 is not working without a target man. It doesn't work when Guzan punts into the middle of James Collins or
Yeah.
Or Winston
absolutely.
Reid. Reid had a great game at center back.
So you want to see different tactics post-break.
Yeah.
And God knows I can't disagree with you there, because that's the thing that's been most frustrating about Lambert recently, is he keeps trying the same thing despite the fact that it's getting
Or try to use some substitutes,
Yeah, God. He used 2 in the match against West Ham. He has...
and one of them was Clark coming on at the death.
Yeah, exactly.
When they subbed on Carroll, and you don't want to lose a point at the end. I don't care if you didn't want the point.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's irrelevant. If you give it away in the last minute.
I can see that, I guess. And God knows Carroll...
Senderos coming on for Baker, so...
Yeah, so we saw that, and, it'll be...
They were both at 80th minute plus. I think you need to put someone on at the hour mark. I don't know if there is someone who can actually come on and change the game in a positive way for Villa, but it's got to be better than having someone whose legs are just dead. Like, Sanchez is just jelly by the end of the match.
There is someone who can come on and change the game. Unfortunately, that someone wasn't even on the bench, because that someone is Jack Grealish.
So there wasn't someone.
Yeah, exactly. On that bench, there wasn't anyone that could come in and be a game changer.
Yeah, so I don't know. Make the preparations and put them on the team sheet.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the idea of changing tactics as the one thing post-break. I would agree. I might be being hasty. I would say more specifically, I want to see Grealish at least on the bench, because I think a game like West Ham was calling out for Grealish. It was sort of a deadlock. West Ham were the better team. You throw Grealish in there, let him just go free up the sides, and I think you could really change the tenor of that match. I think there's a chance that Villa gets something out of that. I don't think you have to play just defensive subs.
I think so, and yeah, maybe it was definitely the right situation to bring a big guy on to combat Carroll, because if you get out muscled there and lose a header, and fortunately their 3 efforts that came and went straight to Guzan. Guzan had a great day.
Yeah, he did. But I don't want Grealish on when Carroll comes on. I want Grealish on in like the 65th minute.
That's what I'm saying, and I think that's good too. I mean, a lot of people saying maybe Grealish should start. I think I've even said that. I definitely have said that, but I'm not sure if he has the legs for 90 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm starting to... I was very firmly in the let Grealish start camp, and I'm starting to realize that, maybe that was folly. Maybe he shouldn't be starting right now, and that's fine. But he is the best impact sub that Villa have. He needs to be on the bench.
To play sometimes, if you're going to keep him around and not loan him out, because you could loan him to a championship side and he could start.
Yeah, exactly.
Every other game, just from fitness standpoint, because they play an obscene amount of games, but...
Yeah. In that Tottenham match, I would have been wary of bringing him in there because it was such high tension and.
Once Benteke was off, there was nothing to lose, and if you're going to make attacking subs anyways, which
I think tactically speaking, Grealish was, that Tottenham match was begging for someone like Grealish. I understand, if you would say that I don't want Grealish on there because everyone is tackling like an idiot and I don't want to see him get injured.
those things are going to happen. He's going to get killed one match regardless of who it's against.
Yeah, but atmosphere-wise, that was perhaps not the best place to bring him in. But tactics-wise, it was perfect for him. And, there's just, you never see him. And so that's what I want to see changed. I want to see Lambert use his subs intelligently. Or use his subs full stop.
You might as well use all three of them,
Yeah, exactly. There's no need to leave tired people out there who aren't accomplishing anything.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Just one final thing before we wrap it up. I guess I think it's kind of with Carlos Sanchez. I think he's been improving a lot, and he obviously still has some work to do. But
we're seeing fewer mistakes every match from him.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that obviously is learning to play within the team and what Lambert wants him to do. And Lambert saying he's ready. A couple weeks ago, no, maybe he's actually seeing what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's settling in. I'm still not fully confident in him, but I understand that with Delph gone, there's a need for him, and he probably should be there. So I'm at least glad to see him improving while he's playing.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Lambert bought a couple midfielders right at the end.
Yeah, exactly. He cleverly.
If Delph goes down and we still had El Ahmadi instead of the.
Oh God, that would. I mean, can you imagine? We have Cleverly and Sanchez now both starting. Imagine Villa without them and Delph gone. And
that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
And what you've got is a match in which Villa have 15% possession if they're lucky.
I mean. Yeah, possession doesn't matter, but at that point it obviously does.
There's some point at which the overwhelming force of the other team's possession becomes an issue. And without Delph, without Cleverly, without Sanchez, I think we would hit that point very quickly.
Especially if all these defenders are still injured because you couldn't just put 8 defenders and Gabby out there.
Yeah, exactly. God, yeah. So, and for all the crap that we've been giving Lambert, and as much as I'm sort of finally on the get Lambert the heck out of here bandwagon, he did make good moves over the summer. The fact that Villa have this depth is a direct result of him spending wisely when he had very little money to spend over the summer.
Definitely, and yeah, working the loan market, and Sissoko was a pretty cheap signing, I think, and he's been good. He can't cross, but
yeah.
We kind of knew that. He goes forward, he tries, but it's just maybe that's no Benteke in there. That makes it difficult to cross.
That's true.
It's not really an easy skill either, but
the match did make me sad that we didn't get Aaron Cresswell instead of Ali Sissoko.
I think Aaron Cresswell had a lot of potential and had the most assists in the championship last year. So, and being linked with Villa, I think that does make it hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it does because
when you see him playing in a different claret and blue.
He looked good. It was my first real chance to get to see him play, and
West Ham have been a good side this year.
What was that?
West Ham have been a good side this year.
That's one thing that I was a little leery of in the narrative of, hey, we got a point from a team that was in great form. You could have said that about Villa after the Liverpool match, and we all now sort of know that it was a mirage. I'm not totally buying West Ham as the team that we've seen thus far.
You don't think so?
No, I think they're good. I think they're better than perhaps they have been. I don't think they're good enough that, we played a really crappy match, but at least we got a point. Should be, you shouldn't be able to append that sentence with, at least we got a point at West Ham. Like, West Ham are still a team.
At the end of the day, are you really happy with it?
I think they're still a team that you should be able to go in and get points. It's... getting a point anywhere away in the Premier League is a good thing. But there are certain teams where you're able to say, yeah, we could feasibly go in and take 3. And I don't buy that West Ham have removed themselves from that group.
Yeah, they beat Liverpool and they beat City, but obviously, as we've seen with these teams,
Yeah, you know who else beat
both
Liverpool?
City struggling a lot, and Liverpool as well.
Yeah, and you know who else beat Liverpool? Aston Villa did.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much anymore. But I mean, I think West Ham are undoubtedly better than they have been lately. But I don't buy
Yeah.
the full-on, oh my God, they're amazing narrative that we were hearing.
No, I think Ener Valencia is a good striker, and Di Sacco is a good striker as well, and they've both been scoring. And having Carroll up there, they're gonna be dangerous, and they'll probably have a decent season as a whole just because they look like they have some more depth.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
no, they're not going to be in the Europa League.
No, I don't think so. I think they're a 10th place team. I think they're a team that, on terms of talent, are roughly equivalent to Aston Villa. They're just better managed right now.
Right now, yeah, and they have less key injuries.
Yeah, they have fewer injuries. They're better managed. That sucks for Paul Lambert that he's being outmanaged by Sam Allardyce.
But Sam Allardyce has kind of got a team that really fits the strengths of what he likes to do.
And that's true. Absolutely. I mean,
And
he's got what he needs there.
so I don't know. Maybe there's another piece Lambert can bring in January to help. I guess we'll have to see. All we can hope for over this international break is that some people do heal up a bit. But remember, Villa off this weekend, but next weekend we will be back, of course, with a preview for Southampton. Any final thoughts today, Robert?
Not at all. Looking forward to next week taking a look at Southampton.
All right, yeah, we'll of course recap what some of the villains did over the international break. Remember, Christian Benteke is actually going to be playing with Belgium, so maybe a chance for him to find some form before he comes back to serve a suspension. But anyways, for Robert Lintott, I've been Jack Grimsey. As always, remember keep checking 7500toholt.com as well as check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Remember, you can subscribe on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, or Stitcher. So until next time, this has been the Holtecast.